Hello, another crazy video coming up. Obviously, subscribe, all that good stuff, like, comment, love a comment. But this video is all about rectification. Now, that's how we turn AC into DC. So you take your mains power from like a wind turbine and you put it into DC to charge a battery, and then, well, you could take the load, put the load straight on it, but you need to balance it a bit. But let's say we're going to charge a battery, all right, and we want DC output. We're going to just explain how that works, how you can do it cheaply with a full bridge rectifier, solid state, and hopefully this will be useful for some of your projects. We're definitely going to have fun with it. And without much further ado, please check out the video. It's coming up right after this. See you in a bit. This is a rectifier. It's a full bridge rectifier and it's operated by diodes. Now, as you can see, there's only two markings on it. Positive, that's your DC output, and AC, that's AC1 input. Doesn't really matter which one, as long as one of the AC terminals is connected to there. That's your input. This is your output, positive. So your AC in, DC out. Now, bear in mind this is here. Okay, so I'm going to do it like this because this is how the drawings all have them. Okay, this one up here is your positive. That means this one down here is your negative. That's your negative DC, or red terminal, black terminal. AC1, so one side of your AC coil in here. AC coil 2, this side. So you see that they are on opposites. Okay, now this little beastie is how you take it from your 230 volt supply, not this particular model. This would be more suitable to 30 AC volts incoming supply. And if you look at the model number, it will give you a nice, lovely, clear indicator. I mean, this one actually is 1000 volts rated. So you have your kbpc, but the interesting bit is the 35 is 35 amps. 10 after that is 1000 volts. So if you have 10, then add another 2 zeros, for instance. Okay, let's jump to the next bit, and I'm going to show you how one of these actually works. So in the bit before, we explained that the full bridge rectification uses diodes. Now, a diode is this little thing. This particular one is a Schottky diode. Now, what it is in mechanical terms is a non-return valve. So it would allow current to go through it, and then the valve closes behind it, so the current can't come backwards. So you could take AC voltage, and as the AC voltage does this, it will allow that top half of the sine curve, or the voltage curve, to go through it, but the bottom half, which is in the other direction, it will not allow it to go through it. So this would be what we call half wave rectification, and I'll use the board here. This is your AC motor, so it goes up to 180 and down to 180. This is 0 volts. This is max positive, max negative. Okay, if you were to think of it like that way, or opposite. So on here, you would take your diode. This would allow this voltage through, But this voltage, it would not allow through because it's going in the other direction. So you could think that's traveling that way and that's traveling that way. Or that's going up, that's going down. Whichever way you want to think about it, that's what's happening. Okay, so it's a one-way valve. If you are a mechanic, you might like to think in hydraulics, where you can push and suck fluid through a line. Well, this will stop you from sucking it back down the thing. So then your other valve could allow more fluid in, and hence you would have a linear pump or piston pump. So with that in mind, we need to do something a little bit more clever to allow both of the sine waves to happen. So you need to use both sides of this curve, don't you? Now that is full bridge rectification. So uses a combination of 4 diodes. Notice the triangle shape. Not very good at triangles apparently. Okay, so here, if I were to say there's your AC 1, I'm no good on a board. This is your AC 2. Let's put a little symbol for an AC generator. Okay, not a very good one, but you get the point. Generator. Okay, so we have that. So we have an AC voltage coming in here, and an AC voltage, when it comes round, if it was just a wire, it would come in, go around and go back, and then that one would come in and go back. So that's no good, because we have DC positive, DC negative coming out here, right? And this will go to our battery, it will go to our electronics, and it will take that electrical power, which is dumb power, just power, and it will do something intelligent with it. That's why we need DC power for electronics rather than electrical. We need electronic. So this will be how you get that nice lovely power. Now, to do this, this always needs to flow out there, and this always needs to flow out there, and it needs to return there and go back to the opposite line what it came from. Now to do this, we put a diode. So this is your flap valve. Remember the analogy of the valve. So this will push current that way and out there, yes? Now when it comes through here, so it's come from the generator, it's going through here, and then it's going to return this way, yeah? It's got to go through the whole circuit, but it needs to change state, doesn't it? It needs to change from AC to DC and back to AC. Otherwise, the circuit's broken. There's a wire that would be the same as cutting a wire or flicking a switch or something like that. So it then comes back through here, and there's another diode, which then allows it to come this way and then back to the generator. So you have that one size, so that's this side of this AC loop, yeah? Now when this flicks to do this side of the sine wave, we need current to go this way, up through here, and if I draw that diode there, you can see it's travelling through there. It's then going to come back to here, and then it's going to travel through there. Now it has to travel when it gets to this point It has to travel through the DC loop because you've got a valve on this side, so it can never ever go backwards through there. Electronic theory states some does, but in theory, that's a valve, nothing goes back, okay? Always some leakage, like on a valve, you get a little bit leak back, but that's that. So when it travels from here through there, it has to go through the DC because it can't get back up through there. Now when it gets here, it's got to travel. If it's come that way, there's already suction here, so it's going to be pulled that way because that is closing that valve because there's pressure on it, right? And then when it comes, you get what I'm saying. It comes back and it travels down the other line because if there's pressure on the line, remember voltage, think of it like pressure on a valve, right? If the pressure closes the valve shut, it'll take the path of least resistance and therefore go up the other side. That's effectively how the diodes work. And of course, it can't ever travel the wrong way through the circuit because the valves are shut. All right, the diodes are shut. So now I'm going to show you a screenshot of Circuit.js, which gives a lovely view of how the actual circuit works with little electrons moving. Okay, so here we have a half bridge rectifier, and you can see that only half of the waveform passes through the diode. You can see that at the bottom, where the left being the input waveform and the right being the output waveform. So you're only getting half of the wave. It's important to note that on the next slide with the full bridge rectifier, look how many extra peaks there are on the right hand side. Though it's exactly double, as you can see here. So you are now utilizing the full waveform. So you've got twice as many output peaks as you have input peaks. Okay, so hopefully now you have a much better understanding of how full bridge rectification operates, how it works, and how you can turn your generator AC or alternator AC voltage into something more usable as DC voltage. Now, as you saw in the last clip from Circuit.js, you can see that the output voltage still peaks. It's not constant. So this would be a rectified output. So it's a DC output, but it still peaks. After this, we need to use capacitors, which will then stabilize the output to a constant voltage. But that's a video for another day. This is enough to handle for one day, I think. But I hope that helps you understand how full bridge rectification, the difference between full bridge and half bridge, and how you can go about it. Like I say, 1000 volt rectifier, full bridge rectifier, costs about £3. So there you go. You can really do some good stuff for not a lot of money. Yeah, happy creating. Hope this has been of help, and please hit the subscribe, like, share, all that good stuff, and drop us a comment. But remember, this is still not fully usable DC voltage because it needs to be cleaned. It needs cleaning up, and we use capacitors for that. You're going to have to size them and everything for the current, for the voltage and everything like that. One thing worth bearing in mind, some people use like 250 volt capacitors on main circuits. Shouldn't do that for cleaning up. This isn't advice because obviously that is dangerous voltage. But even, let's say you have 23 volts I'm picking that at random because it's similar. But you have 23 volts AC coming out of your alternator. You've put it through your rectifier, but you still want to be using something quite heavy duty. So for me, I will use the full peak voltage whenever I size any components. So for, if you were to say you had 23 volts, this is what you would read on your multimeter, not an oscilloscope, but on your multimeter. You might read 23 volts on it, but your peak voltage will be 32.5. You times what we call the RMS voltage, which is what you read on your meter, and you will times that by the square root of 2, because RMS is 70.7% of peak line voltage. Just something, I'm not going to go into that now, but just something to remember. If it's reading on your multimeter, at least add another third to the voltage when you are sizing your capacitors or resistors or anything like that. So standard size 35, 36 volt would be just enough if you were working with like 23 volt AC. So you really want to be looking at something like a 50 volt resistor or capacitor or something along those lines. Just something to bear in mind. That's for another video, and we'll go into how we work all of that out. And I think my chair is slowly going down.